and therefore you'd speed would, and trying to maintain your depth at the same time you try to increase your speed, very difficult. So that means you're going to have slow speed. Whereas if you got a spoon plug down there, you can check your speeds out. That's where the big catches will be made with spoon plug on the cast, not with a jump fluorite. It takes too long. You got to keep them in a frenzy if you want to catch a lot of them. You got to have them, and I prefer 3 in the boat instead of 2, and especially 2 in preference to 1, because I want them. Somebody got to keep those fish coming, keep them going. And my first wife, she was the best I've ever seen. She could stay in a school of bass. It was unbelievable. She'd retrieve so fast, and she'd sink the bottom. She'd retrieve so fast, and every fish she'd get faster and faster and faster. And she's up to those. She was cranking, and the rod tip was bouncing at the same time. Many times I said, listen, you can land and put your own fish in the live well. I got to get in on this.
But keeping them in a frenzy is part of the key.
Very much important.
Okay.
You know, you keep them in a frenzy. You don't fight them too long. I was fishing with a fish and tackle editor of Sporting Goods Dealer. He was over in North Carolina on the Virginia border, Bugs Island. And I had located these bass. I knew the bar, the river coming in, and it's a beautiful spot. And I knew it was a casting position, but every time I go, it wasn't that every time. But when I had him, I made a pass on it. Bingo, I had one. So I knew they was out there. So I anchored the boat, and he had brought a little old light spinning rod along. Well, I knew he was going to be in trouble to begin with. So I made a cast with a spoon plug, or I had one coming. He had trying to get that little lure out there, and I had a spoon. I must have had 3 or 4 or 5 in the bottom of the boat kicking, and he was still trying to, and then he hung one. Well, by the time he hung it and messed around with it, and I told him, I said, you're going to spook him. I said, since you've been fighting that fish, the rest of the fish are following you, and you're not getting him out of there. And I said, because those last 2 fish were getting closer and closer to the boat. And I said, when they get here, we're really going to spook them. So he had this fish coming, and he's wrapping that rod around the boat. And he didn't know how am I going to get the fish in the boat. And I said, well, I'll net him for you. And I had a 100 white redhead wound up on the end of my rod. And so I got the net, and I said, pull him on up here. And I looked down the water, and there was all those bass. And I just stuck my rod down, got me one over in the boat, and netted his. That was in.
All over.